So before I even have you do your notes for today, I'm going to have you flip over your notes, and we're just going to do a very quick review of solving one-step inequalities and graphing them. So I'm going to do the first two. I want you to just watch and pay attention, and then you're just going to try these two. So you will just write and try these two on the back of your notes. Okay, so for the first one, we want to find the center of the problem, which is where the inequality symbol is. And for this one, it's a greater than symbol. You circle the side that has the variable or the letter. Whatever is happening to the variable, you do the opposite of that on the other side of the problem. So since they're subtracting 10, on the other side of the problem, we're going to do a plus 10, which is 26. Then you bring down the symbol, you bring down the variable. Okay, so x is greater than 26. When you go to graph it, this is going to be an open circle because it doesn't have part of an equal sign with an arrow pointing to the right because the greater than symbol is pointing to the right. Okay, so let me just try one more, and then you're going to try these two. This is x times 5 is less than or equal to 15. Circle the side with the letter. They're multiplying by 5. You do the opposite, which is dividing by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Bring down the symbol, bring down the letter. Then if I go to graph this one, I have a part of an equal sign, so that means you color in the closed dot because it's included. The symbol's pointing to the left, so arrow pointing to the left. So you're going to pause and try these two below here on the back of your notes. So you don't have to write the top ones, just do these ones. So write it out, solve it by doing the opposite, and then graph it like I did. So pause and try these two. Okay, so now I'm going to have you flip over your notes, and we're going to do solving two-step inequalities. It's very important to understand how to solve a one-step, which is what we just did on the back, in order to even attempt a two-step one. So the steps for solving a two-step inequality are the same as solving two-step equations, and also very similar to one-step inequalities. So first you do the inverse, which remember means opposite. So you have to do the inverse of adding or subtracting first, then you do the inverse of multiplying or dividing. Okay? The only extra step is to graph the solution again, since the answers go on forever. Closed dot for this symbol, that's when you color it in. Open dot if it doesn't have part of an equal sign. Okay, and the arrow points in the same direction as the symbol like before. So let's take a look at this one. So this has two steps because there's two operations. There's multiplication in this case, and there's addition. So same step where you circle the side with the variable. Okay, now first you do the opposite of adding or subtracting, and then you do the opposite of multiplying or dividing. It's almost like the reverse order of operations. So they have an adding 6. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 6 on the other side. So 30 minus 6 is 24. Okay, now I'm not done. So what I do is I cross out that I already did that step so that I know that it's left. Now I'm left with 8 times x. The opposite of multiplying by 8 is dividing by 8. So I'm going to do that next. I get 3. If I cross out my multiplying by 8, I'm left with my variable. So that's how I know I did both steps. Bring down the symbol, bring down the variable. So x is greater than 3. So I have my 0, I have my 3, I have an open dot because it is doesn't have part of an equal sign. Arrow points to the right because the symbol is pointing to the right. So you do the inverse or the opposite of adding or subtracting first, get that answer, and then do the opposite of multiplying or dividing. Okay, so I'm going to have you flip over your notes, and I wrote up some practice ones for us to do. I'm going to do the first two. I want you to just watch, pay attention, and then you're going to try 4 on your own. So if you're stuck on the 4 on your own, you'll have to back it up and watch me do the first two because they're basically the same thing. So here's the center of my problem. I'm circling the side with the variable. Step 1 is to find the adding or subtracting that's happening in the problem. They're adding 5. I do the opposite of that, which is subtracting 5 on the other side. That brings me to 21. And then a helpful step is to cross out the plus 5 to know that you did it. Now this is times 7. I do the opposite of multiplying by 7, which is dividing by 7. I do it on the other side. So now I do it to the 21 because that's what's left. And I get 3. I cross out the times 7, so I know that I'm all done because all I have left is the variable. So I bring down the symbol, bring down the letter. So x is less than or equal to 3. When I go to graph this, I put a 3. This has part of an equal sign, so closed dot. This is pointing to the left, so arrow pointing to the left. Okay, let me try one more, and then I'm going to give you guys some to try. Now, remember, a fraction bar means division. So my step one again, circle the side with the letter. This is the side with the letter. Okay, the opposite of subtracting 4, because you want to do the opposite of adding or subtracting first. So the opposite of subtracting 4 is adding 4, which gives me 6. Cross that step off so that you know you did it. I'm left with x divided by 3. The opposite of dividing by 3 is multiplying by 3. So I'm going to do that to my new answer. I get 18. I'm going to cross off the 3 so I know I did it. I'm left with my letter. So x is greater than 18. Now I'm going to graph that. So 0, 18, open circle, pointing to the right because the symbol points to the right. Okay, you guys are going to pause and do these 4. Okay, so remember, circle the side with the letter. Do the opposite of adding or subtracting first. Then take that answer, do the opposite of multiplying or dividing first. Then you bring down your symbol and your letter just like before. Okay, and then you're going to graph it. So you're going to do these 4, and that's it. Check in with me when you're done.